Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Fireside. It's the ETF2L Highlander Grand Final tonight, and it is set to be a great one. It's 3 a.m. taking on GANJA. I'm Dave, joined by a venerable crew tonight. We've got Harry providing analysis. We've got Domaytoe and Vixen with the comms. We've got siyo on production. Great people all around, and it's set to be a really great match. Starting off with my friend Vixen, tell us a little bit about how the season's gone and particularly how GANJA got here.
Well, I mean, from the start, GANJA have been rolling through in the regular season on a perfect run. While they haven't been the same in playoffs, upper bracket finals, they did end up losing to 3 a.m. in a relatively convincing fashion, but obviously not on the same maps as we have tonight. And in the lower bracket finals, winning versus twice in a very, very close game, going down to the wire. So overall, a very strong team going into this, but it's a case of how are they going to be able to deal with the prodigal sons of STCK 3am themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. 3am, very, very strong competitors, as we'd expect. They are the defending champions. Domaytoe, you've spoken to a few of them. What words did they give you?
Good evening, curious crowd. I mean, they had a shorter route into the grand final, 3 a.m., and already linking into the rosters. You don't have them visually seen on the screen, but they had a little write-up here, so strapped together so you all know who you are dealing with. Together, they are more than a Highlander team. They are a machine of strategy, skill, and determination. Each player bringing their own strength to every match. When Osoro holds the line, Nabi already soars through the sky. Vlad stares menacingly. Luca leads the charge, Snacks keeps control. Seeds prepares the path. Likey tracks the prey. Mezzo closes the deal, and Clark guides it all from above. This is the team. This is 3 a.m. This is Highlander. And GANJA. If that doesn't have you quaking in your boots, I don't know what else will.
Yeah, absolutely. Seem very, very confident. And they probably should be based on that upper bracket we saw last week, where they won pretty convincingly overall. I don't think GANJA were quite at their best, but certainly I would say that would point to 3am very much being the team to beat tonight. But we can also talk about what maps we're going to be playing then, Harry.
Yeah, so we've got some interesting maps. We've got Vigil again, as we can see later on, but it was an interesting ban because each team banned the map that they lost in the regular season to each other. So a warm tick ban and a brute ban coming out from GANJA and then 3am. Upward pick from 3am, which is somewhat predictable, seeing as Clark is undefeated in Premiership since 2016 on that map. So the STCK core doing really well historically, so I'm expecting them to be favoured going into the first map. Vigil, also a standard pick from GANJA. 3am lost points to the Failure roster that came fourth this season. So a kind of a sensible pick from GANJA. 3am deciding to ban Steel, which is probably signalling that they feel very confident going into the grand final. Still a bit of a coin flip map that you'd keep in the map pool if you're wanting a little bit more volatility. You feel that you're not quite as strong as the enemy team. And then it's going to be GANJA deciding to take it to product. Broken, who will be playing Sniper for GANJA today, is probably his best map by far. So it could be interesting if we do manage to get there.
Yeah, it was certainly a decent map for them. If anything, they won probably more convincingly on Asheville in the lower bracket did GANJA. But I think probably one of the things I've been thinking about is also in the upper bracket game where it was 3am beat GANJA pretty convincingly on that map, and particularly Nubby, they really struggled to control. So I think he's going to be a player to look out for tonight as well. I mean, we are obviously starting off on 2 payload maps, so the sniper duel is going to be quite a big factor. I'd have to say it's interesting. We've got Broken coming in as a merc rather than Mujet. I don't think anyone really wanted to be playing against that 300 ping sniper here, Vixen. But what do you think? Probably, I mean, Broken is not really a player you would have been playing against either, is he?
No, definitely not. I mean, it's a tale older than time. Like, Clark does not like versing him, especially on that third map. But in terms of the sniper duel, I mean, Broken versus Lakey, both very good snipers, top of the league, top of the class, maybe all time, but that is debatable. I don't think they're going to be the sole playmakers in this, as there's so many other powerhouses of classes. I think Spy is going to be a very interesting one to view against, as we have Mezzo, and we also have... I can't remember the spy for GANJA. Unforgiven, yeah. I do apologise for that. But both very good spies, and Mezzo has a little bit of experience from the last cast that we did going against them here.
Yeah, absolutely. If he did a lot of work in that lower bracket, and if he does more tonight, we expect him. He always kind of shows up in grand finals, but I think a lot of these players are going to be sick of seeing Mezzo and sick of getting backstabbed by Mezzo after tonight. But will it be enough for his team? Domaytoe, is there any kind of player you're looking at as a standout before we start off and upward here?
I mean, I think we also need to officially introduce the GANJA roster. I will just quickly do that, and then I will answer your question. But I mean, we already put the finger where it hurts here. Manix, the Menace on Scout. Ryan, do I need to say anything more than basically Ryan on Soldier? Grip, Pyro, Blank on Demoman. This is a player I want to talk about. Elijah or Eli on the heavy class. K-Cam Engineer. Gio, also a player I want to talk about on Medic. Broken, Sniper Merc, and Unforgiven. You asked me this question. I had a quick interception here, Dave, but I want to answer your question. The Demo vs. Demo Showdown is really what is important to me here. I did some calculations myself. Blank has 469.82 damage per minute on average, and Luca Eneman is trending behind that 460 damage per minute. Quite equal. For me, it felt sometimes Blank was a bit gunned out and sometimes left alone, isolated. This is definitely a key player I want to focus on. Also, another storyline I want to lay bare in front of our eyes here. Seeds has 3.9 deaths per game. Zio has 5.93 deaths per game. That's not only double, but I feel like Zio is just dying constantly. Maybe also something else, by the way, to speak about those picks and bans. Is anyone else than me surprised that GANJA picked Vigil? Like, anyone?
Yeah, they did lose it in the upper bracket, but I do feel that they probably are feeling more confident on it than you would suspect after losing that 2-0. 3M did lose to Phalos, so they're probably banking on the fact that it is a slightly weaker map for them. But it'll be interesting to see whether that actually comes true or not.
It was pretty close as well. I think almost all the rounds, if I remember, were pretty fast as well. So I don't think there's a very large margin. I think if either of those teams works out, maybe one more point that they can improve their defense on, it will make the difference. We'll be able to put them over the line because, it was 2-0. And I definitely think it was a case of 3M having the better of the kind of the form on the day. But I don't think it's going to be a map that they're going to be scared to play against 3M. From GANJA's point of view, they're probably still fairly confident on the map.
I have some other insights, by the way, on the 3AM pick and ban storyline here. They basically banned Brood. Obviously, they also lost it, but because they didn't get much playtime on it at all. Steel is a dark horse. Harry had alluded to it, but also Vlad told me that they simply didn't want 3 attack defense maps, essentially. I mean, Payload is different than Steel, but it is still attack and defense, I think that is an interesting storyline to keep in mind. Upward is a bit, for me, an ego pick or not pick, because one team wants to show they are the record holders, and the other team wants to show we can break said record. But
here we are going live for this grand final. 3AM versus GANJA. Take us away, Domaytoe and Vixen.
Officially spring into ETF2L's Highlander Season 35 Premiership Grand Final. 3AM is poised up in the blue, attacking first Vixen, and in the red, it is already a crit charge brought forth here by Blank and GANJA.
Yeah, not being too subtle with those crit sticks, just putting them above the door, near the cart, the typical spots that you would expect coming out from Blank here. I'd imagine 3M are going to be looking to set the tone very, very early here, get a lot of early cart time, maybe take some pressure, maybe sack first, go very quick, but it's up to them. We'll have to see how they do rolling out into the rest of this round, Domaytoe. What sort of time do you think they're going to get here?
I think if it's anything below 6 minutes, which is definitely doable for them, it's a wonderful statement play for them, honestly. But I am, let's say, 5:30. What do you think?
I think I agree with you there, as the doors finally open going into the first part. As you see a quick bomb onto flank from Nubby, trying to find what he can. Clark is picked up the first kill of the game by Blank with those crit stickies. They're simple, but by lord do they work. Not much aggro coming out from either team here. We do see Unforgiven getting sort of found on the flank. The sack actually comes in. Mujet manages to find Nubby before the sack. Elijah finds Luca as well. It's going to force the AM to just sit back, push the cart, and find what they can while they wait for these respawns.
That was almost an uninspired suicide wave, it felt for me. Very low committal, honestly. Luca Animan was the only one really jumping in. Osero has his head surgically removed, so 5 seconds still, but we are slowly waiting for the card to be pushed forward. Also, Snapper with Snapper duel ringing out here. Navi brings the direct hit forward, and the Uber comes close.
Well, they do end up trying to take what they can. The exchange comes out. Blank is so forward, it's not even in the Uber for the first couple seconds. Trying to find what they can. We do see the teleport going down to Mezzo during the Uber. No picks going either way. Just a tug of war, finding what each team can. Still a lot of aggression over the top left side. As Unforgiven goes in for a stab, does not hit it onto Lakey down the flank, so he's allowing him to just peek through still. A lot of aggro coming in. Mezzo does manage to find Menex mid-air. Muja on a 3-kill streak, 4-kill streak even, manages to find 2 in Luca and Clark as the fight still goes on.
Welcome to backstabs from underneath, but Mujet up to a 5k here, and another shot ringing out. Navi is cleaned off by Elijah, and a first stumbling block. It really seems to me as both Ubers are on par so far, but really, it is a dry fight potential. They are not really trying it though. It is now the Snapper vs Snapper duel. That could be a very key component here, but essentially another Uber fight glaring and flaring up on the horizon.
Yeah, both teams now just barely having, probably looking to take it into each other, get rid of that Uber once again, and they do. We do see Lucas sent forward, nearly out of the Uber, doesn't manage to find anything. Muja on a 6-kill streak manages to pick up Osero, just as Mezzo is picked up by Elijah, and once again, the gun does not go down. Luca picked up by Muja, already on a 7-kill streak, just ripping and tearing, but he's finally picked up by Lakey as he wins that SVS, while Nubby is picked up by Menix, close to the flank. The fight's still ringing out. We do see Ryan trying to find what he can. The bomb is denied, picks for each team here. As Unforgiven also goes down, this might be able to enable 3AM to get forward, very possibly, but they're taking their time about it.
Should be the back out, honestly. I mean, Mujet just spawning now. Elijah now has to battle against Osero on top, also goes down to around 20 HP. They have to barrel themselves out of here. Navi is trying to take up to the air with a meme spoon, and there we come close, but Mujet digs him an early grave. Instead also, Seeds crosses through the sniper sideline, not being shot, but a forward hold could come out here, but you already see Luca Animan is propelling himself forward. Menix though has him dealt deftly by with his own scattergun shots, like he opens this all up, however.
Yeah, that pick is going to get them back into the game here, so we see them starting to walk up, but the teleport behind gets the force off Elijah. They didn't pick up the telly, and they paid the price for the Uber coming out. That's going to leave Gio to use as well. They do end up forcing. They do get some picks in it, though. Snacks going down. Elijah and Muja are both dead, though. No sniper. The side of Ganja might deny them from getting a lot of space. They're trying to find what they can. Picks coming thick and fast. Lakey going down. Clark going down. So Unforgiven. Dirty little 2-stab coming out there.
Unforgivable on allowing the spy, but they already lost their main fighting forces in the front line, so the spy can simply reap the rewards. Also, you said Zio popping an Uber. I was very much surprised. I think the main way they used that Uber was a call came in, hey, there's a push coming in, and Gio just thought, okay, I guess I just pop. But another stumbling block here. Honestly, 3AM not able to set up as much aggressiveness as they maybe would have liked to.
No, definitely not, but they are starting to get back on track here as the gun goes down from K-Cam, but Nubby's picked up mid-air by the body shot from Muja. Fence is going out. Elijah going down as well. The Uber comes out, trying to take it in. They know that Cease doesn't have just yet 70%, trying to pick him up, but he's dodging and weaving. Oh. No, he does get picked up by Muja, while Lakey's trying to find what he can after the medic being picked up. They are down the medic, but they got so many picks. At the very least, they're going to be able to get the car up here.
I thought for the sake of myself, Seeds was living, but it meant he stayed alive for so long. Also, there's a spy bumped on the tracks area in behind Mezzo, only refooling some players here. He's still lurking in. Likey finds another head that rings here. The bell chimes from Mujet, still in a 10-second spawn wave. But Seeds staying alive there just managed for them to have to commit so many resources here on the defense to kill him and clean him up. That meant they just bled a lot of players. Essentially, though, 4.5 minutes, not what you like to see for 3am, and the third point already set up.
Not what you like to see, but we've got to hope for their sake that they can start to take this a bit quicker. They do seem to be trying to get what they can, pressuring up main. We do see Muja bringing out a headshot onto Nubby, dominating him already in his first round. We do see they're still trying to peek through, find what they can, not being able to find anything yet. While both teams, well, actually no, GANJA has Uber only 10% ad. They do end up using it, trying to catch out Seeds before he gets.
Seeds doesn't
just getting in, he doesn't live, gets put into under and put in the bin at the same time. But they bled so many, 4 players just to get that Uber out of the way. Vlad and Luca are also down. Osro dies late to Elijah. It's going to allow him to push the cat a bit forward, but that Uber is so bad.
Gets revenge. Osro manhandled him the 2 times before, but Elijah comes in strong. Snacks also peering and peeking from the little side house area. Nubby, a coughing baby against a hydrogen bomb, and that was Nobby basically impersonated. Cleans off Mugit. Luca Animan still plowing some damage forward here. Also, Elijah is sent into the sky.
I don't think the cast caught that, but it was an headshot onto Siege. Ryan just walking through Banana, managing to pick it up. A nice little combo hit there. His third is eventually taken as we move on to holding the 4th point. Down 2 still, no Elijah and no Ryan. Died late to get that medic. I don't think it particularly matters. We do have Uberad on the side of GANJA. They're going to try and take it. Nobody does go down late here as 3am is starting to push the cart.
If you look at the time here, Vixen, 2 broadcasters already called out. It took them nearly 6 minutes here to push the 3rd point, but already trying to stampede into that 4th point. Unforgiven, he has a backstab and an Uber is used here. Another one to maybe catch out Seeds. And yes, Manix the Menace finds him through the underneath area. Another medic frag for his own kill tally, and that was a wonderful rotate.
Definitely, it's disgusting for Seeds at the minute, just in that respawn timer constantly. Not looking good for him. I imagine Grip is still down though, so maybe they want to take some early pressure. We see a meme stream trying to come out from Nubby, doesn't manage to get anything, now being dominated by Muja as Mezzo goes down at the same time. Still trying to take the SVS through backstairs, find what he can. Menix goes down in the meanwhile, and Lakey is picked up by Unforgiven in tiles. You don't want to be caught in backstairs alone there.
They basically have another 10% Uber disadvantage on the offense. Probably not enough for the defense to prompt that going on very much forward, but Unforgiven is spotted. Manix just spawning now, so they're slowly taking ground here.
But Nubby goes down before anything comes out as well. He's just on the respawn timer as well as Sees. While still trying to peek through backstairs, peek through towers, find what they can. The gun does eventually go down to the Enforcer of Mezzo. Maybe opening it up a little bit for them as we see Osro just getting that cart time up, find what he can. Because at this time, you just want to get everything. You need to try and get as much time as you can. They're already on a disadvantage. As Osro goes down, the Uber comes out through Harry Potter, trying to find what they can. Everyone's dropping down, the Uber coming out on the side of GANJA as well. Managing to deny the cart a little bit, but there is a heavy in there. Spawn. Snacks just sitting there. Luca ends up going down at the same time. Shio's picked up by Vlad. And this might be it for GANJA if 3am keep up this pressure.
The defense had popped significantly later, but you have to focus on the card time here right now as it's already taking forward. No, it's Grip. Another Grip on reality, but it is kept in between. And underneath their noses, there you go. The explosion banking on around 8 minutes. A bit of car crash here for 3am, but I will shout into the void. Hopefully it will answer. Harry!
Yeah, that was a really interesting round. We had 3am kind of feeling very sloppy. The first point, Mujet just living for too long, and as soon as they kill Mujet, I mean, they managed to cap their first point. That sniper pick is that kind of key frag to get on that first offense. But transitioning into that second, not killing the teleporter and getting forced, and then getting killed by the aggro Uber, and that was a consistent theme throughout their offense. Just not ready for these aggressive Ubers on second, third, and fourth. GANJA were taking them and killing Seeds consistently. They were able to cap second and third despite of that because of a good refight, which is a good kind of silver lining for them, but they need to make sure they're not losing their medic so they can actually take advantage of these good positionings that they're being placed in, and they have an Uber charge to do so. That last, they probably shouldn't have been capping. Grip kind of throwing that defense away by chasing into Harry Potter, not realizing Mezzo had dead ringed, but an 8-minute time you can't really complain for on the side of GANJA.
You cannot complain about it, and you put me on the spot before, Vixen, now I put you on the spot. Who wins now?
Oh, I have to say it's looking alright for GANJA. I would have to say maybe they'll get it, but we won't know until we get to that last point as they're trying to take very quick. It's like he is already picked up by Muja. Revenge for him. That's going to open it up so much faster than it did for 3am. see a decoy coming in from Mezzo, trying to find what he can with some spam coming in from the Soldier, Nobby trying to deny what they can.
They want to take the early exchange. Prospering in the chaos here, but Seeds doesn't even pop. I like early engages because you get damage when the enemy team does not expect it. Also, a sniper was down. Unfortunately, though, for them, Clark wrangles down the engineer on the sideway, and they don't really have any fighting force here, any personnel forward. Osoro chases out some players with the remainder of this Uber. It is a 30% Uber advantage for the offense, but it might not actually matter in time as Osoro also cleans off Ryan. I think, though, Nabi, Likey, and Mezzo down. That should signal you backing out.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they want to just yet. They'll try and find what they can. They do have spawners now, and they're getting that telly back up, it looks like. But we are going to see a decoy coming out from Forgiven, trying to get the Metas. Vlad is trying to deny what he can. Forgiven doesn't find anything, trying to get into pockets. They all just fought in, trying to find what they can. Luca goes down. So does K-Cam and Grip. Osoro going down, as well as Snacks. Picks everywhere, here and there. As it looks like this is going to be GANJA finally taking that first point, as Clark is caught in the ruckus, trying to get back to spawn with that Eureka effect, but is sadly picked up.
Absolute mayhem. Both medics suffering, but you do not care. If you are Gio, you do care if you are on the defense and still have 2 second spawners here on 5 of your vital players. And the forward hold on second, again, not able to really comprehensively come out. Already, blue fighting force is trotting forward. Well, It is Blank. Actually, Blank is just walking forward. Look at the flank as well. Nabi on the tunnel.
Oh, there's just picks going everywhere here. They have no pick classes, no K-Cam for the side of the offense, but we do see the Rap coming in, trying to find what they can. Zio just dancing around, does manage to survive maybe as Mezzo's trying to gun him down. Is eventually able to pick him up as Lake gets Elijah. That is going to be the majority of their offense stopped here, but we do see Grip and Blank trying to stay aggressive here, make sure they can't take any space while Osoro is just there doing his cart duties as a scout.
The refight again. A battle-battered Blank harbors bulletproof plight, but apparently he is still trying to provide here for his team. So much forward ground, honestly, without heals. Staying forward, being the main Omphilus, the main anchor to rally up around. Mujit also finds another head here of Likey. I feel like he's winning the Sniper versus Sniper duel much more prominently. Unforgiven with a 2K as well, shattering this defense. Gio is shattered though by the hydrogen bomb. It is Nabi coming forth, but Vixen almost full wipe.
Very almost full wipe there. I mean, that was just great coordination. They knew they had the Uber out, they took it in, and Unforgiven with those 2 early entry frags coming in. They just couldn't get out in time though and got collapsed on. That's what happens. You don't want to be too forward after that Uber happens. And this is going to enable GANJA to walk up so aggro onto third already, with Plank trying to put stickies down, people in banana grip there to deny anyone that tries to come down, as we do see Lakey trying to peek over tracks, find what he can, so that they can try their best to set back up on third.
You can try to maneuver through tracks, migrate some flank players, but Mujit is already peeking from the flank. Do they know about him? Luca Animan is not suffering from that snacks divs Ryan. That might so much help them. Also Mujit, a headshot onto an overhealed defensive sniper, but probably not enough here. Elijah is simply tanking his forward position, backs out ephemerally, however.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be able to take a lot of space here on third as Blank goes down. Lakey manages to find Elijah as well. Lakey! Blue medic drop. First one, if I'm not mistaken, of this Prem Grand Finals. It had to happen at some point, as we see a lot of the players going down as well. The offense is halted by such a great pick out of him.
Such a great pick. You cannot spell Likey without AI. He's generating some wonderful comeback stories here for his team and structuring it up. We are banking on around 4 minutes, definitely doable, but you have now to climb it slowly. Dry fightingly wise, there's a body shot onto Osoro that it might enable some space, but Likey immediately responds in kind. Also, Uber is popped through banana.
Yeah, they knew they had Uber ad, and they've managed to sort of get rid of all of the strength that it had, only picking up Grip, but also goes down in the meantime, which is going to allow them to maybe start walking up. But Menix is also picked up by Mezzo as Nubby goes down to Ryan. Or Ryan goes down to Nubby, I apologise. Luca is picked up, so is Elijah and Mezzo. Picks going everywhere once again, as the offense is probably going to try and take this with no demo. It means they can't really trap off main, and K-Cam's getting a lot of cart time here, so it might be looking on the up for GANJA.
I'm not so sure about that. I mean, Blank again stays forward alone. This time around, though, is punished, and we see the same thing happen to him every single time. Another exemplification of it, but we are heading into a Uber engagement. Well, not at all here, since the defense doesn't even have yet. Nabi is forcing it blatantly early, but Blank also being caught on 100 HP here deals with Likey deftly. Also another route here into the skybox essentially, but Snacks is still here and still shoots all of those players. 2 bits, Navi also chasing, but no, Mugit wins that 1v1.
Yeah, all players doing their best to deny this offense, as we do see Grip trying to get the medic. See survive. It doesn't look like it as Blank picks him up, and Vlad also gets picked up by Blank with that sticky. That's going to be a great looking pick for them. As we do see a pit death. It's about time.
It is about time, and also they're bleeding their players here. It looked so easy for 3AM to defend the 3rd point, but out of nowhere they overchase. They are reflected to all sorts of ways, and I was ready to say, yes, my impetus on saying, oh, your record might be broken here is crumbling, because 3AM looked unsturdily and unperturbed on the 3rd point, but eventually overcommitting, overchasing, 2 minutes still, and you know what? A hefty Uber advantage for Gio.
Yeah, definitely. Clark's legacy is looking a little bit frail right now as Lakey is picked up just above their spawn. Nubby goes down, and Seeds goes down to Muja as well. Looking very, very good. The Uber comes out, trying to bomb into pub spot, find what they can. The heavy standing tall, but Snacks is eventually picked up with Luca. With only 4 players up, this might be the end of this first upward. They need to try and get into car. It's only Bad alive, but he is picked up by Blank, and that is GANJA winning this first upward.
Utter and thorough annihilation. They consumed 3AM, and what a comeback story here, Harry, wasn't that?
Yeah, it was a time which you would favour GANJA for, just under 8 minutes. Certainly good enough for them to push, and as we saw, they did indeed convert, and it was kind of a very similar story to the offense, really. 3AM overcommitting in a lot of those fights. They overcommitted on first, losing the majority of their combo. That got a good recommit onto second, but then overcommitted, lost enough players, and then had to take an aggro Uber to try to save it. They overcommitted in the aggro Uber, therefore getting rolled onto third, and then they overcommitted on third and lost third that way. And it just ended up being that they kept overcommitting in these situations where they should have played slightly more passively, or with the picks and advantages they had. They didn't do that, and they lose the round off the back of that.
I think those overcommits were definitely playing into Muja. As we look in the logs, Muja, 26 kills and 12 deaths. Nothing to scoff at. Lakey was holding his own as well as he could, getting 17 and 11. Sadly not being able to get more. Muja putting the rest of GANJA on his back, but it's not like they were not pulling their weight either, as Blank going 16 and 8 with 550 DPM. Very good from him, diffing Luca Enderman, sadly only having 350 and 7 in 13 there. GANJA overall just looked a lot stronger than 3AM did.
I was worrying a lot on maybe Blank is isolated, dice, but apparently that was not to their detriment that much if you simply kill Luca Enderman more. Dave, do you have any choice words here about those cold numbers?
Not so much the numbers, but that last kind of phase of play from 3AM was very strange, very uncharacteristic. I don't know if I've ever seen a team overcommit to a lost third hold that hard before, and particularly a team as accomplished on this map as 3AM was a little bit puzzling to me. I don't know about you, Harry. What did you make of that?
Yeah, it seems like that was the kind of the story of the entire round, was they were overcommitting very heavily, just in general. They got Muja when the aggro Uber came in. The advantage Uber came in from GANJA on that offense. Grip died in the Uber to Nubby from the high ground, and that actually enabled 3AM to recommit and get Mujet on the cart and allowed them to hold on to that. But rather than playing wide with their sniper, just playing the advantage they had, they went for broke, took an aggro Uber, overcommitted with it, and they just didn't find anything. And from that, they just ended up falling apart. So it's just I think they're trying to do too much. They're trying to force the issue. I think they're mostly trying to strangle Mujet out of the game, and it's just not working. Because they're just playing into GANJA, who are absorbing that pressure and then collapsing on top of them when the time is right. I think they need to try to be killing Mujet in a more kind of coordinated fashion rather than a commit everybody onto the sniper and hopefully you get him.
Look what siyo wants to highlight for us. Sorry to interrupt, but damage per minute. If a producer could speak, and damage per minute there, Blank and Mujet, absolutely uncontested.
Yeah, Blank. That is hefty damage. I mean, it isn't really rewarded with that many kills given how much more he's doing than the other players. But yeah, that is a big difference, and significantly more than Luca, especially. And yeah, Luca's numbers not looking great based on that, and they definitely have to step up. I mean, the thing was that GANJA's defense wasn't even that dissimilar to the way that 3AM wanted to play it, but the crucial thing was when GANJA did lose a few plays, when they did try and make plays on that defense, they would just lose their flank and then they would get key classes out of there. Every time the 3AM boys committed, it seemed like they were almost either wiping or very close to wiping, and you can't really afford to do that at this level of Highlander, particularly on stopwatch.
They were losing seeds in the majority of those fights as well. Whether it was them getting used on, like when on their offense, for example, on the second and third, GANJA taking that aggressive Uber, they ended up losing the point, but they get seeds, so they're not going to get rolled onto third. And similar on third, they kill seeds on their aggressive Uber, and they're just actually converting these kills, aggressive Ubers into kills. And although they're having to give up the point, they know they're giving up the point, and they're setting up a good hold on the next point.
Absolutely. I mean, I think based on at least purely logs, we're going to have to see Luca step up a little bit in this next round or so on upward. Is there any other players, Harry, that you'd look at thinking they need to just up their game, possibly from either side, but especially from 3M?
I don't think that there's going to be a huge factor of the number of players. I think Snacks not getting a huge number of kills, but he's controlling quite a lot of space. Seeds needs to make sure they're not dying, but that's not necessarily always their fault. It could just be the positioning of the team. What I am really looking to see is how 3M actually adapt their play, whether they're going to be playing in a similar fashion where they try to take these aggressive Ubers, or whether they're going to try to play slightly more solid, try to take a more structured approach to killing Mujet rather than an aggressive Uber trying to collapse in onto them. They have been in this position before, and by they, I'm including SDCK, where the Clark being a round down, looking down and out on this map and just coming back and destroying, for example, Sailor Black Warriors in previous seasons when they've taken the first round of upwards. So certainly not out of it, but they're certainly looking on the rocks.
Absolutely. The teams are ready to go again. We are readying up on this second round of upward after GANJA took the first round. Take us back into it, Domaytoe and Vixen.
Let's be alert that after the number 1, the number 2 follows. So there's always a second round, even though you do lose your very first round. So they're already trotting forward here as the setup time was a bit skipped early on. Likey trying to find Dominion early. Also some crit shenanigans. You see the crit sticky even protecting him. But I mean, this record now is soon maybe to be broken. Snacks already guns down Ryan here. The very first suicidal wave rings unsuccessful.
Yeah, they don't manage to find much on that first sack with 3AM, managing to just hold on to everything that they need. See, it's still 100% Uber, everyone's still up, still peeking Lakey through. Imagine he's trying to find any picks now, because they're going to be looking for that exchange relatively soon, as we do see players walking out now, top right. Menix is getting very low there, you don't want to be losing too much health before the exchange comes out. The medic is out, Gio looking for the use, does end up using, walking over top right, trying to find what he can. Seeds not using yet, just milking it to its entirety. Vlad being picked up during that Uber, but Seeds still hasn't used. I mean, no pyro for them, but it's you want to be looking to save him there.
Dropping their pyro, let's see if it bites them here. Snacks also has 2 players here to stare him down, but the Troika of Doom is charging forward. Osoro and Luca Animan alongside with the Seeds. They don't really find that many value out of it, honestly. A bit of a late overcommit once more, as Mujet might find here Luca Animan, who is a bit reamed out of position since he has to overcommit into a large sniper sideline. And Clark is also trying to wrangle them from afar and safeguard their own back out. But another late commit, it feels for me, for 3AM.
Yeah, definitely. I think Clark was able to stop them from pushing too aggro there, managing to get his team set back up, although Mezzo did die afterwards, so no problems on when they're pushing him. We do see a bomb coming in from Ryan. I think Snacks trying to get Snacks very low there, does end up getting arrowed, so the damage is mitigated as they're taking a lot of space on hill. They're trying to find what they can, walk up as we still see pressure coming out. The soldier inside tunnel might be caught here. Clark and Lakey are both caught. Lakey losing that SVS, nobody does get caught by blank eventually. So does Snacks, dropping too many players on the side of 3am here. I'd imagine GANJA are going to want to get very, very aggressive.
The fabled pinky toe shot, that was basically Likey versus Mujits 1v1. He finds another one year Mujit up to a 4k. They simply, by killing single players, take this third point. They don't even have to pop an Uber. If players are bleeding out, you get an early sniper advantage. You kill other players. Likey has a little greeting there down under. You travel Unforgiven, but essentially that is worthless since you are backing out anyway. So they lost 1 to 2 to 3 players unnecessarily and lost the second point because of that.
Yeah, they're just using that player ad in such a great fashion and making it work so well as they try to get aggro up main here. They know both teams have maybe looking for an exchange, although Muja is picked up before anything happens by leaking, winning that SVS. The Uber comes out, coming through Banana for the side of 3am, trying to find what they can. Grip, Muja, and Unforgiven are all dead in this. That means no denial. We do see Blank getting picked up as well, being forced into upper. Lakey goes down to Elijah from Poo House, managing to find Luca as well. They are recommitting with a banner though, trying to find what they can. Elijah and Ryan are both picked up. That means no flank for the side of GANJA as 3am getting a little bit aggressive here, trying to stop them from taking any more space.
Mujit is dropping down, but it is the sniper sideline. That is enough, even though Navi, your dude does not protect you from what happened to you. I mean, the banner is nice, but if the entire flank still stays in while the other players have recommitted and respawned, definitely not a good choice. You have 3 players down. Make that Clark as well. No setup on the last point. Probably if they do push very aggro here, Blank constantly barreling forward.
Yeah, he's trying to get aggressive. They know that they can be caught in if his team walks in, but they're not actually looking for it. Just the SVS, which Mujet does win this time, as Snacks is picked up by Blanket at the same time. This Uber coming out, trying to deny third, but they've got the cap. I don't see the logic in this whatsoever. Ryan! They don't have to deny anything. So, no.
Ryan on schedule once more. Ryan Air, that is. Fasten your seatbelts or not. I don't care. Ryan Air is still on a tear. Mujit also is just standing on this little cart here, but they are just breaking them. Literally, it's all I can say here. They're breaking them.
It's just these overcommits they're going into aggressive and getting punished for it. You'd think they would clock it from that first round, but apparently not. 3 down already. Oh, we do see Mezzo though trying to salvage what he can. Mujit and Grip both down. Maybe looking to drop down from tiles as they are trying to get a little bit of pressure through main. Just spot where they are. They no longer have the player ad as 3am do have spawners. Lakey getting back up, looking to stop them from pushing anywhere that they can.
Now the important question to ask. We do have a 50% Uber advantage, but where do we want to push from here? Ryan early spam on this dispenser to enable the spy, but Unforgiven blocked 1 rocket, so it wasn't immediately exploding, but Pyro is very aptly there to deny this. Uber is popped very dominantly, or predominantly here, to kill the sentry gun. Likey is dealt with. That definitely does help their efforts. Also 85% here only on the defense, so card type is very much integral.
Yeah, they have to be trying to get this cart up before they get Uber. They're not really dropping down yet. They want this Uber before they get in. We do see Grip jumping for the... Oh, Vlad, sorry, jumping for the cart, but they're left with only 3 up. They didn't even get a chance to get the Uber, man. They're all dying. Clark goes down, Osro goes down. The Uber is denied. And that is a 5-minute 31 time for GANJA. Looking very, very dominant on this second upward.
Yikes.
There's much left to say. I mean, Harry, if you want to give us an explanation of what happened there, I think we would all be very grateful.
There's a single word that kind of sums up the entirety of that defense from 3am, and that's going to be stubborn. They are just too stubborn to give up any round in which they clearly have lost. They're trying to hold on to 2, they're trying to hold on to 3 in these horrendous fights that they're just putting themselves into because they feel forced into trying to actually hold a point for longer than 30 seconds, it feels like. But because of this, they just end up getting another disadvantage and they're in a worse position on the next point over and over again. And it all started with Seeds being too stubborn to use the Uber to save Grip. And maybe that was the call from Luca Enderman or whoever the main caller is, whoever made that call on 3am. But you need to be using that Uber charge to save your Pyro. If the Pyro is down, they can just very easily collapse onto you, send all the spam your way, take player control, get some kills, and that's exactly what they did. GANJA converts, and a 5:31 is between 3am and Clock's first Premiership defeat on Upward ever.
Oh, shaking scarily, or very scary that is. But I don't want to pound the rubble here too much, honestly. Elijah, the anti-aircraft gun, Luca Animan, AC 130, pew, 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 gunned out of the air. But eventually, it is still not beyond the faculty. We have seen them before in this position. I think 3 AM. Now they want to come back and forth with a vengeance.
Yeah, they're going to be looking for it. I'd imagine Clark doesn't want his legacy to die out like this, although he is picked up on the card, trying to get some card time in there by Muja, as Nubby goes down and Mezzo go down. 2 for the side of the offense. That's no soldier bombing, no spy decloaking in the post, not getting that done. The Uber exchange comes out, trying to find what they can. No Ubers in play for either team, not managing to get much, but we do see Blank trying to get a little bit aggressive over stairs here, not finding much, although Muja does manage to find Lakey. That's going to enable them to stop pushing, but we do see Elijah and Blank both going down. 2 powerhouse classes, Medics and Unforgiven at the same time as Clark and Vlad. They have quicker spawners, so this might be a quick lead for them. 4 down with no powerhouse classes could be dangerous.
They need to leave ASAP since also GANJA lost their flank on the side, and eventually apparently some players are body blocking with their own, well, bodies, so siyo is able to live. Ryan only really denied some progress here. Nabi already taken up to the air. Let's see if he can find anything. Also, the rest of the players are trotting behind it, establishing a forward foothold here and trying to assume another very potent position. Swaying left, swinging right seems to be the way of waiting for your heals. Also, you do have an Uber disadvantage. You do have a sniper advantage, however.
Yeah, speaking of left, right, good nights, Muja is picked up by Lakey. That's going to enable the Uber to come out. They don't want to be dying for this sniper. They're trying to get seized, but he's just too stubborn once again. Does eventually use, got down to 20 HP before he just got that Uber, but the GANJA is already out there, 3 down, no Ryan or Unforgiven. We do see 3 I'm trying to get aggro here. Vlad is able to pick up Elijah while he's trying to leave. As we do see a bomb coming out onto tracks. Does manage to find Muja. Oh, the bomb doesn't actually. Lakey manages to find Muja, as he also picks up Grip, enabling them to possibly roll onto 3rd here.
GANJA tried to recommit from tracks when they were already flushed out. It was a 5-second possibility, but Elijah is still forward. They haven't spotted him. They haven't checked, and Seeds is planted into that respawn wave. Let's see what blooms out of him once he respawns. But I can say what blooms here for the defense. siyo on a hefty 80% Uber advantage.
Yeah, it's hefty for him, and that is single play just turned the table for GANJA. Now with no snacks, no medics for each team. Mezzo going down as well to those K-Cam crits. You're going to watch out for those. We do see Lakey trying to get aggro onto main here. Nubby is also picked up in the meantime before the fight properly starts. Sadly cut out for him as they are walking up through tracks. We do see Luca Enderman trying to get aggro on catwalking. Not managing to find much though. With still 50% disad for Seeds, I'd imagine GANJA are trying to take this a little bit aggressive here.
What I find telling is how far forward Blank is still playing. Honestly, could have been picked up, but Ryan helps from top here, and Ryan Air again on schedule. So much curtain fire. The barrage of rockets was unleashed. Mezzo is jumping in, zapping the sentry gun, so another player can leap forward, but Elijah near dipping snacks here. An angle that was not expected. They tried to do something with dry aggression, and the card not even up the very first hill.
Yeah, looking dangerous to them, down to nearly just 2 minutes, but we do see Ubers for both teams. It looks like they want to take it, even though they don't have Osiro. That means no hits going through in the Uber, just taking it taking a demo pyro, trying to find what they can. The exchange comes out, managing to get out this time. Season not caught in, not making the same mistake as last time, although he's very low, down to 70 HP. I'm not saying what it was before. Luca does manage to get picked up by Muja as well in that post. Elation once again, just doing bits.
Just doing bits, so much damage plugged forward here. Elijah on a 5k. Ryan with the barrage of rockets. He is simply unleashing them. 4k for him, even being protected. Manix walks on forward, and they want to establish this 3rd point even more. A record is there, and a record is cool, but every record can be broken.
Now, all the talk of these Ryanair being the worst flights, I don't believe it with my very eyes what I'm seeing here. We do see Mezzo going down. And Nubby, once again, trying to get a little bit aggressive here, find what he can, going in for another meme spoon. But he's picked up by K-Cam, he had no health, couldn't get anything. Osiro, Clark, Lakey, they're just collapsing under the pressure. They can't pull it off, just picks here, there, and everywhere. This is what we said. The player had GANJA are working so hard to get these single picks, and then it's just snowballing into 2, 3, 4 picks. As it's looking very bleak for 3 AM here, possibly looking at the end of Clark's long-running reign on Upward.
We are now having a celebratory Uber here used. We are reaching into the realms of mathematical impossibility. Grip also has impossibility here brought to seeds. Welcome and visit another player here in the void for me. So we now have to cast the last 30 seconds as everyone, and ourselves included, we are witnessing history. Only 20 seconds to go.
And there could be more history made in that 20 seconds. We see a bit of BM coming out from Ryan, bombing in there. Oh, Grip! Managing to reflect. It doesn't matter at this point, but does get a reflect kill onto Seeds. Nubby is picked up with 5 seconds left. They're just playing for logs in the BM at this point. I imagine they want to tilt them going into Vigil as well. But that is going to be, one, as we said, Clark's long reigning, standing on upward, being broken by GANJA.
And it ends here. Not only that, but 3 a.m. most likely, well, we had the confirmation for that, they picked Upward, not going to be happy with that result.
Definitely not. And I mean, Harry, I've got my own ideas about what happened in that game, but do you want to give any more insight onto what made GANJA so, just their destructive power so hard?
Yeah, I mean, GANJA were the ones to break the STCK streak in winning Premiership, and now they're the ones to break Clark's even longer streak of upward wins, and that's somehow even more surprising. It looked like that they were collapsing on the second point there as they tried to recommit from tracks. 3AM taking advantage of that and getting so many kills, but then they just go house. I don't know why you ever go house in that situation. You got a load of space that you're given for free without the sniper alive, that you can just walk tracks, and it's very difficult to kill you there. You don't have to worry about hiders in the spawn, but they go house and they just die to a heavy, and that was it. And from there, it just ended up being, in my opinion, a main call difference. I think the calls from 3AM, whoever's making them, has completely just lost them that game. I'm just going to say it up straight away. They're making rudimentary mistakes. They're taking Ubers on third without any cart pressure. That's like the number one thing you need. You need your Uber and cart pressure simultaneously. Without that, the defensive side can focus all their resources on whichever one you are actually doing, and it completely denies everything that you've got. And from there, they just were never back in the game. GANJA able to steamroll their way into a hard hold on third, and the victory's theirs. They're up 1-0 into their map pick of Vigil.
Yeah, some harsh but correct words coming out there. I do agree with you. I do think it is just a main call diff and a mental diff. I mean, I think we could see it after that second where Elijah just walks out of spawn for free, managing to hide and get a load of picks, and all of the Ryan bombs. I think the combination of all of these just led to a mental decline for 3AM. But I think for their sake, they're going to have to hope that they can stabilize themselves and not bring that back going into this Vigil. If we're looking back again at the logs, Mujet once again going on an absolute tear. 43 kills and 19 deaths, coming in with 420 DPM. We don't like drugs, kids. But we look at Blank again, getting over 500 DPM. Just absolutely demolishing. I mean, Lakey tried to stay in the game, going versus Mujet there, going just equal, 23 and 23. I mean, overall, it just looks like a little bit of a team diff as well as that main call diff.
A lot of harsh words coming out of Harry, but true nonetheless. And I feel like now I'm personally responsible for that. But honestly, also Dave here in the backlines maybe can bring us some more analysis. What I can see, by the way, if you look at deaths, there is a mild difference in how many which players are going down how many times, because Blue has so many higher death rates here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Harry's more or less on the money. You could clearly see in that second round especially, a little bit in the first round as well, but there was quite a significant difference in terms of, you know, how competent the teams looked in terms of their overall kind of team play and whether they were making the right decisions or not. That, you know, every time the GANJA were put in the press a little bit, they were able to negotiate their way out of it quite nicely. They had a lot of good kind of defensive transitions with disadvantages where they ended up, you know, getting a hold on the next point, or at least not wiping, whereas 3AM consistently had absolute calamities go down, whether it was getting wiped on third on both rounds, which is, you know, terrible, particularly in this meta of fourth being very, very strong. And also we had those kind of comedy moments such as Seeds getting picked up by the heavy in the forward spawn, and possibly more so than the combined logs was the individual log of the second round. A listener ended up with a crazy KD, which is only indicative of him playing a very, very solid game and 3AM completely collapsing around that enemy heavy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not focus firing the heavy, if you're not expecting him, he's going to be dealing a huge amount of damage, and it's just kind of unstoppable at that point. And I think the sloppiness really kind of from 3M really played into that. I mean, if we have a look at the second round there, I'll tell you that Osiro is the only player with double-digit kills on 3AM. And that kind of tells you all you need to know. They just got steamrolled over, Zambonied into the floor. Like, utter domination from GANJA, and not boding well as we go towards Vigil.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. They're obviously going to have to improve their overall kind of direction, as you said. The main calls themselves didn't look amazing. They didn't look particularly cohesive as a team, and also individually, those players are going to have to step up. We talked about Luca, obviously, before the first round. I think his second round was even worse, and then Likey as well. I mean, Likey got some good numbers and some good kills on the first round, but that second round did not have a good time and seemed to be consistently getting outplayed by Mujet. So it's difficult going up against that high ping sniper, but Likey has been the best sniper in Europe for quite a while now. So the reason why 3M have been so difficult to beat in previous seasons has been because they've got that formidable sniper. So he has to step up as well.
I do agree that he has to step up, but he has to make sure. Well, he doesn't have to make sure. His team has to make sure that they don't feed around him, because a sniper can be the best sniper in Europe, but if it's a 1v9, then that sniper's gonna do diddle, and it's not gonna be good for him in that fight. It's in my mind, it's just 3M needing to have to play more solid. They need to stop trying to force the issue and actually try to absorb the pressure, because at the moment they're trying to kind of bounce back, and well, unfortunately, the rock that's hitting them is way too hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing you've got to consider about is how do they change, particularly when we're thinking it's being like a main caller thing or a comms thing. I don't really see any players that really make sense in terms of like swapping classes around. Like maybe you could put Nubby on demo if you really wanted to, if you really thought it was like an emergency, but beyond that, I think it might just come down to all these guys. Most of them have won Prem before, at least I think, and the ones that haven't at least have a lot of experience. So they can all bring it. They all know how to play Highlander, but based on that first map, it honestly didn't really look like a Prem team, if I'm honest.
Yeah, certainly it's not like a top Prem team, and I don't think you ever are going to be changing any classes around, but you need to have a change of mindset, and especially on Vigil, where even more so than Upward, this is all about momentum. If you wipe on 2 and you try to commit to a third hold, you're going to instantly lose in a 4-minute time. 3M need to realize that it is all down to whether they are able to actually stabilize on points after giving up some ground. Vigil's not a map where you need a good second, a good third, a good last. You need a good 1, maybe 2 of those points, and you'll get a solid time. That's the mindset that they need to be in, and that's the mindset the calls need to come from.
Absolutely. Okay, so Domaytoe, starting with you, and also Vixen. We're moving over to Vigil now. What are you looking for, particularly from 3AM, in terms of making this a bit more of a contest, because they've got to be not feeling great about themselves right now?
A bunch of keywords thrown my way. It's as if we practiced that beforehand. I'm less of a numbers person, I'm more of a people's person here, but the mental fortitude is definitely what you need to look at. We already called it. The streak was broken. 3AM players probably 100% not happy after that one. But we talked before, or I also was a bit corrected there. I was surprised that 3AM was rather picking, GANJA was picking Vigil, but it was quite close on basically every round that we've seen them before. So no reason here for 3AM not able to bring it back. And I'm trusting in the fact that on Vigil, you are less liable to overcommit yourselves and have this mindset of we are the kings of this map. For example, Upward, we have to show why we are the kings of this map.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. Sorry, Dave, to interrupt you there, but I have to agree with Domaytoe. I think going into this map, they just really need to be focused on not overcommitting. It was said before, and it'll be said again. They just need to be able to leave, and I think it's going to be a better map for them, especially for second and third, because instead of having to rotate fully out, you've got spawn, where you can rotate through to tracks. I think this map is a lot easier because you can just rotate straight through spawn to that next point instead of having to manually walk back there. So if 3M can have those calls to leave instead of just overextending and overcommitting, I think that they can definitely be a lot more formidable going into this Upward as we finally see the start of this Vigil, the second map of Premiership Grand Finals.
Brilliant. As everyone who is just joining in, a quick recap and also a quick question. Where were you all this time? A wonderful map here is up for us. It is GANJA now, looking to have the hands on the money, maybe seal this deal. And let's bring in Harry once more. What is your prediction for this one?
Well, after that first map, I would have to favor GANJA. You can't ever count 3AM or the SDCK call out. But what they need to be doing in order to actually give us the confidence is, as you said, make sure they're not overcommitting, make sure they're backing out and playing their life rather than trying to play the game that they can possibly play against a team like Failure or Twice, slightly kind of like middling Prem, because they can dominate those games by playing aggressive. They're not going to be able to dominate GANJA, and they need to realize that.
This will be the first litmus test. They are on the defense first. It is important. Where do they stay? We see Likey is peeking forward, as you sometimes do expect, but also, well, you don't have to necessarily play like this. Only takes -90 on the heavy. Also, a little greeting shot here from Mujit onto Snags. Snags leaves toward the tunnel. No one dies.
Not yet, but we might be seeing a difference in that very soon, as we do see Unforgiven is caught out with 1 health, does get picked up by Snacks. That ball has absolutely ruined him. A lol coming out from Snacks in chat once more, a little bit of BM. Maybe trying to get in GANJA's head, just as they did on Upward to them. We do see a lot of cart time coming out here. Menix just pushing up. Not really any picks coming out yet. They are taking a lot of pressure on flank as well. The full combo, they are trying to peek Mujet over. Not the full combo, sorry, but Mujet, Pyro, everything on flank, trying to find what they can. And it does look like they're just opting to play very, very passive here on Hill, not really take much aggression.
Now they play defensively, but Likey is still running those kill streaks here. Ryan down, and it was Blank setting the mandate upon him. Snags sets the mandate upon defending this card. Entrance, also Navi has Unforgiven reamed out here. Nothing really to chance their hand. There are 2 players down at the inception of this Uber fight here as they're swaying left and absolutely being charged out by Vlad, who had a longer glow. Once a glimpse of immortality glows, the fades rather, it is important to see if any aggressive players are still forward. They're not.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I was going to say it doesn't look like they want to. I think that was a case of Menix doing the 3 AM on Upward there, just overcommitting a little bit too much. He wanted something from that Uber. But they are trying to peek through main here. Blank and Unforgiven picked up, just taking a lot of spam. 4 down now with no Mujet. Even more down with only 3 up. That is a quick stop to that main push as we do see the banner being popped, trying to take aggro on Hill here and find what they can.
But siyo can leave. The pick classes came in prominently at the end. Mezzo lurking, collecting a 2k, living ultimately, calling and basically stalking those players. siyo was able to not only live but leave with grip, so they do retain the Uber here, and the defensive Uber is also up. It seems to be the side tunnel, it seems to be the main tunnel.
Yeah, they're taking it up main here, and they are being wrapped on Hill as they're just going passive here. Unforgiven's picked up while trying to get something during the Uber. Nothing really found in the Uber. We just see a drop down coming in from Nax and Vlad, getting so many players. K-Cam and Brick going down, although Clark is picked up, and so is Osro, and so is Vlad. A lot of key picks, but when you're on offense here,
Ryan?
a bomb coming in.
Lives, but has to pop. I was going to compliment, well, both of those players. What an insane read on the situation. Menix is in here, and he reigns triumphant from Mount Olympus. Another Greek god has joined their ranks. Menix the Menace rushes in. The medic was called weak, and that's another signal, a distress signal for 3AM to back out.
Yeah, I was going to set them up perfectly going into third here with still no medic up. We see Gio already on nearly 60%, a hefty Uber out here, while 3AM try to stabilize, find what they can, get that gun up. The banner is already popped. They know they need to try and deny them here. They can't let them use this Uber to its fullest extent as they opt to hold near flank. Actually, the gun looking at ladder, trying to find what they can. They do deny them from walking too far through flank, but Unforgiven is picked up as they're still trying to peek through, as looks like the Uber is coming out through ladder, the gun just being ignored, walking straight past it. Not rhyme or reason to this Uber, not finding much, although Luca and Clark actually do go down, managing to find more than GANJA did in that post.
I mean, they don't have to have an optimal Uber. It is enough if the defensive team doesn't have an Uber up yet here, and Luca Enderman is still also down. Snacks falling or following suit here. That is very much important. You can simply pressure forward with your projectile classes and spam them from afar. Mujet also on the outside area being spammed down by Nabi up to a 5k. Nabi basically established a semi-forward foothold, forward hold even on the third point, and that was able to help his team. They are popping quite early here, and it is catching out Blank at least, and also Row onto Gio as well. They clean up house.
Yeah, that's a perfect little flank coming in there, and that is going to put them back in the fight on this last. They did end up losing Lakey very early in that, but he's going to spawn before they get any chance to take advantage of it on the side of GANJA, so it is of no consequence to them as they try to take a little bit more aggression outside. I'd imagine they're going to not want to reenact what just happened to them there as they start to aggro, get some spam out to Red Room. The banner is popped once again. They're going to be looking to get anything they can. Snacks stiffing Elijah, finally bringing it back for him as we do see a lot of pressure still coming in Red Room. That banner's still being used, but not finding any picks yet, although Ryan is finally picked up. The Red Room hold still holding strong for 3AM.
He was trying to slowly pry it open here. Also, headshot helps out. Great. But eventually the Uber is forced. Either way, Mujet finds Likey in between the glow, and therefore he's not invincible. But also Row is still running circles around these kids here. It is the engineer being gunned down into pieces, but eventually that is what you will take, since you do have faster spawn timers here and you do have 70% Uber advantage.
Yeah, it's looking very good on the side of GANJA now, especially now that they got Osoro in that post. Now taking the Uber through Big Dog, picking the start through Mujet, winning that SVS as Unforgiven is picked up at the same time, but no gun, no space for 3AM. Looking hefty for them right now as they need to take a lot of space. Luca got down to 40 health. We've got the Heavy and the God Spot, they're all in the cart just stacking in. Now 3AM flooding in, another meme spoon trying to come out. I haven't seen a single one hit this game yet. There's only 2 up for 3AM, and GANJA take this round of Vigil in 5 minutes and 38.
It heralds the end here. That was so close, and I felt like 3AM were on the ropes, but able to recommit. That was definitely commendable. But I think there is some guy with an octual view, namely Harry, who has some choice words about that.
Yeah, that's the kind of best that 3M have played so far this final, I think, in any of their halves. They backed out from first after a kind of a standard 48-second hold. It was okay. Nothing really to say too much about that. I found it interesting that GANJA went for an early trade rather than any sacks, but it kind of makes sense in the sense of the fact that their plays on upward in these trades were going really well. Usually I like to see some sacks, but the really interesting thing was once again 3M got greedy holding onto that Uber charge. They lost 4 players, then got forced, and that actually meant that they lost Seized as well. Onto third, they played aggressively, but they kept Seized alive. For the last, the aggro Uber worked this time. They didn't overcommit, but they did overcommit to that Red Room hold once again, and they just had to use that Uber charge, didn't find it, and a 538 isn't too bad for Vigil, but I'm sure they were hoping for better.
Definitely.
Too bad, go ahead.
I'll speak then. I'd imagine they're looking to possibly one-up them coming on the offensive side here. We do see some crit sticks coming out from, Luca Enderman. Not managing to pick anyone up yet. They are spotted, doesn't find anything as we see quick bit of pressure onto flank here from Snacks and Vlad. We do see a quick pick onto Blank from Lakey. A very, very nice opening pick to start them strong into this round. Nubby is also picked up at the same time, but possibly a less valuable pick than Blank was in that situation, as they're already playing quite passive, just trying to find what they can. They know without Blank, they can't really take too much aggression because there's no spam onto the cart.
And miraculous sniper sideline once more from Laxson. If you peer toward the little cheat feed here, 6 kills, only 1 death in it, and 4 assists to Feature as well. And he's opening it up all for his team. A secondary shot here onto Blank, and that might actually barrel their team forward. I feel like they're a bit too far passive, honestly. Could have maybe done anything out of that, but apparently, well, content with stacking the card.
Yeah, I'd imagine they were fearing a little bit there, but it doesn't matter too much as they now have it. First point in around a minute. That's pretty good for them. A lot quicker than the opposing side was when it was on attack. So they are going to look to take maybe a side tunnel trade here. Trying to peek their sniper. They do end up trading through side tunnel. We do see Seeds flying through the air. We've been talking about Ryanair, but now we've got Seeds there. A lot of picks coming out. Elijah dying, so does Snacks. But 5 down for the side of 3 AM. Nobby spawning late, but glad it picked up late as well. Looking very good for the defense, not managing to find anything on the side of Mezzo, but managing to play his life there. The defense still looking strong.
Seeds swivels out of there, hops, weaves, dodges, dives, and there is another banner coming out here. Everyone is charging forward. So much damage unleashed in a close quarter scenario. Also a flurry of shots unleashed. Nugent stabbed, but eventually Seeds falling from this follow-up aggression here. Elijah is still trying to, well, defend it, but there are no other players around anymore.
It's a sad tale. His efforts were in vain. At the very least, they do manage to get Gio up, but they dropped too many trying to take that aggressive banner. So they did have to leave third. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the worst for them, you know, getting that medic pick, but they aren't building at the minute. They only just started building, so it's only around a 30% add if Seeds can manage to build at the same time. As GANJA does try to, oh not GANJA, sorry, 3AM does try to walk up flank here. Peeking Lakey through, try and find what he can, as we do see a bomb coming around onto the flank, trying to get that sniper, doesn't find anything. The gun, Menix, and Elijah, the 3-piece, not able to allow Nubby to get anything there, as Luca is also picked up on the flank, just denying their offense, as Ryan is picked up, so is Lakey, and also Ramuja, finding a very nice snipe onto Osero's head, playing a little bit of Kovacs there.
Nubby gave the defensive sniper a haircut, however, with the meme spoon, but that is what you like to find as a frag here. Nubby cleaves Unforgiven asunder, digs him in early grave, but if you want to keep the bigger picture in mind here, it was eventually the defensive team taking the aggression to the offensive team, but now it is flipped vice versa as the glowing blue players are trying to establish a forward foothold here, and Nubby does follow suit with the rockets galore, and still though it is Ryan counter jumping on the card. It is Vlad being absolutely torn to bits, and the defensive players that are still alive can receive the healing beam and can dish out so much destructive damage, followed up by Unforgiven with the stab onto Likey.
Yeah, Trev denying a lot of those bombs there and a lot more damage coming out from GANJA in the post. Unforgiven is actually trying to get in there, but doesn't actually. But we do see a lot of... Oh, never mind. Unforgiven does manage to find Seeds as picks going thick and fast each way. It's Osero and Elijah going down. Do very key picks as they do maybe start to get the cart up the hill. Brick trying to do what he can to deny it, but it is in vain as he does get picked up for it. Just every team 4v3 now. Look, they did get the cart up the hill and Seeds does survive, but Gio has that much more add. It doesn't matter at this point in time.
It is easy to be swept up in the action, but do not disassociate with what is important here. That is the card, and they had the primal focus on there. The base desires are Unforgiven is still around here, and the P shooter is enough after the Spicicle was melted. A Likey down a 5k before Unforgiven perished, and definitely drags his team through the mud and keeps them on their shoulders. Defensive Uber though, that can swamp the offensive team if they are not aware that they do have a disadvantage. Snacks tries to opt out the angles here. Mezzo also spotted.
Yeah, Mezzo and Clark both going down. He didn't manage to get on that cart before it went back down the hill. So that is a good deal of cart time, a good deal of pressure they could have had. Now going down, we do see also trying to get on the cart here, trying to get a little bit aggressive. Not finding much as that all pressuring from flank. The defensive Uber does come out now as Seeds is just about to get. So it's going to leave him at full ad. They do end up taking the exchange, getting onto the cart. They just want to push it up here. They know that they need this cart time, and GANJA just don't want to drop too many plays, but they are dropping 4, their entire flank, plus Unforgiven. They do end up getting Luca as a commemoration pick there, but is it enough to stop them from pushing up onto last here?
Nugent might be a very late diff. He tried to leave through under, and there was a spy towing and toying with Nugent, but eventually Nubby comes in and manhandles that sniper still in a long spawn wave. Nubby's also hiding in a forward position here. They are not aware of it. Still hiding in plain sight and coming forth here with the rockets onto Gio. And that is so much of a dictating force here since you do not have heals up anymore.
We saw Nubby on Soldier, but apparently he's now playing Spy. As picks are coming onto the cart now, GANJA are getting a lot of backward picks, trying to rectify their mistake. They are chasing, trying to get in, but it doesn't matter because the first round goes to GANJA. I mean, Nubby got his. That's a clip. Someone get him another iPhone for that. But it doesn't matter in the end as GANJA take this first round.
It rings for Navi. It rings, though, for GANJA. They are so close to taking it to 3 AM. They took it to them before. They have their hands on the money here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is just not. It's going to put 3 AM in a very, very bad position. They are one singular round away from winning or losing, grand finals. Definitely not winning at the rate that they're going. Harry, do you have any words of possibly wisdom that could change the tide for 3AM here?
I don't really know. It's the same words of wisdom kind of over and over again, really. They need to make sure they are kind of playing together as a team. The team play from GANJA just looks a lot stronger. There were a couple of moments there on third where I felt the coordination just was not there at all. You had Luca Enderman being the only person playing on tracks. Maybe the call not quite clear enough for the commits. They did cap with 45 seconds left on the clock. It's 38 with ×3, so they had 7 seconds of wiggle room going into that last push, but the deny on the cart was just good enough from GANJA, and the collapse in the backline prevented them from being able to cap there. But one thing that they just need to make sure at this point, they're looking better. 3 AM, they're looking more cohesive. They're kind of getting better as we get into this grand finals, but they don't have too much time to figure out the final piece of the puzzle, which is actually letting Seeds survive for once in his life. Seeing as Seeds is dying quite a lot, they are in the respawn queue pretty much after every single fight.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it with Upward. It was 0 deaths on Zio and 5 on Seeds. I mean, the logs don't look as bad for the medics as they are both on 3 deaths there, but it's the timing of the deaths, not about what the logs show. And that's especially true for the rest of the team. I mean, the logs seem pretty even, in all honesty. I mean, Ryan dropping 400 DPM, looking very, very good for his team. Apart from that, there's really not much of a difference. I mean, once again, Blank dropping 470, diffing Luca Enderman again. We said it before, Luca needs to step up his game, but so far he's not really doing that. I mean, Harry or Dave, either one of you, is there anything else from the team, possibly in terms of specific players that they need to be looking for?
I think they've definitely improved a bit 3 AM. There was definitely more of a contest. I think it shows in the numbers and overall in the gameplay. They looked a bit more cohesive. There were, a few moments they're getting caught out here and there, but there was certainly more kind of phases of play where they were winning fights. They were getting stuff work out for them. So they're not far away. If they have another round like that and just execute slightly better, they can certainly win. It was a close round at the end of the day, but once more, I think you just have to think about the mental, because as much as they did improve, they still lost the round, and now they're at match point.
I do love and compliment the fact that they give us this talking time. Usually do not have that much long pauses, but I will build upon the foundation that Dave laid before us. After every single phase of play, it seems like we have a rather long pause for our standards, and I'm betting that is because 3 AM is talking through their strats.
Yeah, well, I think it's also in the term of Seeds, because Seeds did end up timing out there. Serve me, please play without VPN. Possibly playing a little mind game, try and get them a little bit more time to stabilize themselves. So I have to agree with you. That mental is just the key thing going into this possibly final round.
Yeah, and they do need to change something up, or at least continue in the direction they're going. GANJA looked a little bit more mortal in that first round of Vigil, which is interesting seeing it's their pick compared to the Upward, but you never know how these picks and bans will go. But I do think that 3AM looking slightly more promising, but I think we need to see a little bit more from Lakey and a little bit more from kind of Mezzo to get these picks opened, to create the space to allow the team to walk forward. Because if they do walk forward and they get these kills, they will do well, but they kind of need the space to do so. And at the moment, it feels like they're overcommitting trying to create the space before during the fight, rather than getting it before the fight. So I think it's on the pick classes to get it, and also on the team to set up the pick classes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, space is very, very good, but if you have no one alive in the post to sort of fight with it, then it's going to stop them from doing much, as we do see possibly the final ruck coming in from Clark for 3 AM as we get into this last round. I mean, as you said, Harry, the pick classes definitely need to step up their game, but do you think, just as it was with Upward, do you think Luca maybe needs to step up his game with the main calling, or what's your view on that?
Yes, I think if Luca is the one main calling, it does need to be improved, and it has over Upward. But yeah, Blank is currently completely diffing Luca Enderman, and it's not particularly close. So individually, Luca needs to step up, possibly with the main calls, possibly with his individual statistics as well. It could be a main call issue that's causing this difference, because he could just be in a position where his team isn't able to support him, so he gets focused down. But Blank is certainly getting the upper hand of the demo versus demo at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll have to see if he can turn it around. He's only got 1 round, though. I mean, I was thinking this. They've not left a lot of time for them to be properly getting into this game, getting warmed up. And I mean, they had a warm-up and they looked pretty good in it, but apparently it doesn't translate here, as we do see the gates opening finally, some crit sticks coming out. Domaytoe, I will let you take it away, my friend.
It is the latest point in time here for the 2 times defending champions. 3 AM. They were looking to get a 3-peat, not a repeat, no, a 3-peat, but they have to start little and step by step here. But Ryan is already obliterating this suicidal attempt. Luca Enderman was scored, was exploded. Mezzo evaporates Mugit though. That is a definite highlight reel frag here if you want to gain momentum, slowly structure up, walking forward.
Yeah, it wasn't looking too keen for 3 AM getting those quick deaths, but I mean, a pick onto the sniper is going to open up those sidelines so much more. Even though they don't seem to want to take too much aggression here, both teams just are able to abide by being passive. Nubby sitting at 14 health very close to them, as they already have led for second. I mean, that sniper pick, they definitely didn't want to re-peek it and have the chance of Lakey, although he hasn't been possibly at the same caliber as Muja. You still have to respect those sightlines. So let's see if they can try and translate it to a good second hold here.
You see how high the stakes are. I'm always ready to call out singular players acting at a moment's notice, but on 3 AM they're slowly slowing their own trot forward here. There's another suicidal attempt, but Siyo is so safe in the own house area here. He's safeguarded, and that basically rings unsuccessful. Ryan is the only player you do lose, and Seeds not out of harm's way yet. Mugit, being charged by Osiro, can protect himself, however.
Yeah, he does manage to survive and is now trying to pick wherever and whenever he can. As we do see them trying to aggro through side tunnel again, the flank just trying to get any spam they can off. They know if they can get an entry frag, or if they can get anything, it will allow them to get in, but they don't manage to find a frag. It is in fact Menet finding Mezzo before the fight even happens. No spy behind, there's going to be no sap on the gun. That is on rock. That can be a little bit annoying for them to get, but we do see Snack getting picked up before the Uber comes out. You don't want to be dropped there as a heavy, as the exchange comes out looking a lot worse. We do see Nubby going down as well as Elisha drops down, and once again these Ubers aren't really finding much. But Ryan is picked up once again, seemingly the only player that gets picked up in these post fights.
But now it is enabling the defensive team maybe to, yes, walk on forward. Grip and Blank combine on a kill onto Luca Enderman here. Mugit is stabbed by Mezzo. Mezzo and Menix, quite the similar name, but Menix definitely had Mezzo spotted out before. However, they still do lose players. Elijah Near is the sole sacrificial lamb that they have left on the tracks area for Osiro to gobble him up, and Sentry Gun still a level 3-1 at that, and Wrangled. On the tracks they try to recommit. I do not agree with this at all, and Mugit also falling down, so cutting their losses ultimately.
Yeah, they are cutting their losses, but they dropped so many. I mean, those late deaths are not going to be good for them trying to defend this. No sniper, soldier, or spy. That means no comms, via sightlines, and no bombs. They're going to have to play this very, very carefully now until they get those spawns, which they now have, but with no gun just yet, only a level 1, they are able to take flank very, very quickly, possibly looking to get into
Blank
the
is
area,
jumping and Blank is piping them to bits! A battle-battered Blank. Proved very lethal for the enemy team. I do not hope that your guinea pig jumped up high, but that definitely wants it. What a jump in, not expected by an offensive team, and Seeds being absolutely evaporated.
Yeah, that is just perfect coordination out of them. There are a couple picks coming in the post. Unforgiving managed to find Lakey, Luca and Enderman. Luca Enderman and Lakey both being picked up in the post. That is Clark is also picked up. That means a little bit less cap time now but no Muja as well. Lakey does have a quicker spawn, but Muja's going to be there a lot quicker, so they're going to have to be careful about where they're pressuring from here, looking to maybe take it from tracks. We do see Luca getting in, trying to find what he can, is deflected by Grip there, not finding much. Snacks is also picked up at the same time. Nubby solo does get picked up, Osoro as well. Gio now on 90%, very slight ad for them. It's looking dire for 3AM here.
They're into dire straits right here, but who is the Sultan of Swing that can maybe enable them here? Likey has a head found and it's rung out. On Elijah here, another one here onto Ryan, but K-Cam wrangles Clark to bits. You try to get something on the card. Also see is charged, but eventually they can soak this Uber up. This time also able to establish a forward foothold here with the sentry gun, but I feel like the defensive team is rather disrespecting the offense right now.
Yeah, it's good for mind games, but not good for the rest of the picks, as we do see K-Cam and Muja going down. That's going to be detrimental to them being able to hold them to this point. As Clark is little by little putting that cart up. He has a demo now to back him up. We do see Unforgiven going down as well. Mubby is picked up as well, but still pick out for the side of 3AM. It looks like GANJA is just going to opt to leave here, as they know they've got a good enough hold there, trying to get the cart up, as they are only down 2. Lakey's picked up by Muja. No chance for you, Sonny Jim. That means it's a very, very, very good pick coming back in for the defense.
Gave him a haircut from long range. He's also trying to peer toward this little bit of angle. And it is a shot, the pinky toe shot on Seeds. And that is a medic falling down. What a magnificent angle. What a malicious shot in the end. And Ryan is avenging Likey in the end. But it is also Snacks. Always so far forward, and eventually he reaps the results. We saw him on second, always trying to free P blank, and on the 4th point, he does reap the fruits.
Yeah, he does manage to get a good couple picks. That's going to deny that Uber from being used, possibly, if they want to wait for blank to spawn. I mean, they don't really have any comms on where they are. Muja getting a nice little pick onto Clark there, just in the body, shooting a hole straight through his stomach. As we do see them trying to pressure up through tracks now. Lakey possibly looking for that SVS. He knows that the enemy sniper is looking for him as well. He's opting to move back. They still have very, very big ad on the side of GANJA, but dwindling quicker than it's building, as they do lose Osro and Mezzo and Nubby on the side of 3AM. Elijah down as well. Possibly going to deny them from holding Red Room, but they do take the Uber in, trying to get what they can. Possibly trying to pick up that medic. Doesn't end up picking him up as Blank goes down, but so is Luca and Snacks. No heavy, no demo for each team. But the offense have very quick spawners here, so they might be able to translate it into a better push.
A very meta play here, the suicidal wave, and it eventually worked out. The force was gained. However, there are still some players falling around down into the respawn queue. Definitely not what you want if you want to structure up another push here. And Seeds pops onto Osoro first. Luca Eneman follows suit, but down to 100 HP before this Uber was even popped. And now, as everyone is getting so energetic, why not just pause?
Yeah, the first pause we've actually seen so far, which is very, very surprising, and I'd imagine they're going to want to stabilize themselves here. It's already quite a good time for GANJA, but Harry, do you think there's any way that 3M will be able to push this last and make it a little bit better on themselves when holding?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. The sentry gun not getting sapped does mean that a lot of the Uber has already been used, and it's going to be fading soon. So it's going to be tough to say whether they're going to be able to get in deep. The Uber charge is nowhere near on Shio either, so it's going to be down to basically a 9 versus 9 fight. Grip is probably going to fall. Osro should be on the prowl. K-Cam is also catchable, so it's going to be down to whether the flank is going to be Ryan and Elysian at the 2 to watch out for. There's currently nobody outside. Unforgiven, free to comp absolutely everything that he sees in front. So this Heavy and Soldier from behind could be massive spell of disaster for the attacking team of 3AM.
Honestly, judging from this flow of the game, 3AM could have already kept the last point. Like, they looked so strong, but what do you reckon is the atmosphere here in the Mumble comms, Harry, if you are on the brink of instantly pushing that second point, but immediately being bereft of your advantages?
Yeah, I mean, 3AM have to realize they're not out of it yet. Still, it's probably going to be a slightly slower than average time if they cap now, but if they don't cap it here, I do feel like it's going to be a very long hold, quite possibly, because the mental is going to be very difficult to overcome for 3M. GANJA just have a chokehold on this match so far, and it could come down to just a couple of key frags here and there. It was a very early use because of this Mujet sniper watching the angle, so Seed's having to use kind of round the corner rather than a kind of out of Red Room. And he's still on this angle, so it's going to be interesting to see whether he gets spammed out, gets chased, or whether he's able to just back up and maybe even pick up this heavy frag for his troubles as well.
Muted, very much the danger man for me so far. I don't know like you feel about this Vixen. Like, what is etched in my mind is the pinky toe shot on Seeds and also the drop on Seeds by Blank on the second point. So do you have anything else that sticks out to you in your own memory?
Not particularly. I mean, it's not a particular play, but that second where they ended up dropping quite a lot going into third, realistically should have been a bad play from them, but they were able to get out through tracks, and then they managed to convert it by getting those late picks as they tried to pressure through onto flank, and they managed to set up a forward hold. I mean, I'd never expected that in my wildest dreams, but I mean, apart from that, you've kind of read my mind with the plays that stand out. I mean, going to Dave, who always still have a little bit of pause time, is there any standout plays that you've seen? Is there anything that you want to comment on?
Not especially. I mean, I think overall, I've been impressed throughout both this game and obviously the low bracket as well, and just how resilient the GANJA team are. They lose the odd fight, they make the odd misplay, odd, the occasionally stuff happens which doesn't work out for them, but they always just immediately rebound, and that is really the sign of a formidable team. And then they never really seem too nervous, they never really seem upset when things go wrong for them. They just always seem to be in their headspace, very, very professional, very, very clinical, and that's what allows them to kind of bounce back from, as you say, a few of these bad positions, like when they did lose a bunch of players on second, and then immediately they get everyone up on third, they get the spawns in, they 3AM go in for a sack, and they just find absolutely nothing. So it's it's set up in an okay position still for 3AM, but they really need this next push to be executed perfectly for them. It, as you say, like, it's not the greatest super in the world, but it's still going to be a dry fight at the end of it. So could still work out for 3AM here, but if it does go a bit pear-shaped, then we could be looking at a really long time, and that's not what they need when they are on match point.
Definitely, I think it's up to the adaptability as the unpause comes out. See if they can bring it back for themselves here. A lot of picks coming out. Snacks and Luke are both down.
Thanks,
Side of 3AM. Oh! Medics, Blank, Ryan, all getting very key picks. Ryan on a 7-kill streak already. Clark goes down. They are getting some backwards picks as well. Blank, Ryan, Mujet, the part, Election against 2.
Ozero and ice skating Mezzo for that matter. They do clean up house, but eventually helped massively by the faster spawn timers here. They haven't pushed it up the final slope, however, and Vlad, you cannot spell Vlad without Lad. He's the one still trying to give them some semblance of vacation here on the card timer, and it is so close to being kept. Eventually, 7 minutes, 18 seconds.
Yeah, they brought that back relatively well. It did look a little bit shaky at times with picks going each way there, but 7 minutes, I mean, Harry, bringing in our analyst once again. What do you make of a 7-minute time?
7 minutes is not the best time. It's not the kind of like end-all, be-all for GANJA to just kind of stroll this home for free. But certainly they're going to be favoured going into this offense. The kind of worry that I had about the flank kind of came in. Ryan getting 3 or 4 kills on that commit was very strong, but it seemed that GANJA were the ones to overcommit this time, and it allowed 3AM on the offensive respawns to just kind of stroll back in and cap the card. So 3AM probably feeling a little bit relieved that they were able to cap it up there, but they are going to have to hold on, as you said, for 7 minutes and 18 seconds as we look into this offense. It's going to come down to this, whether they are able to play aggressively enough to actually deny the space, but not too aggressively as to overcommit, as they have been for a lot of this official so far.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree. I mean, it is, as you said, all down to this round. They need to be locked in, or if they aren't, we could be looking at even more history as the upward. 3AM possibly get rolled, but we won't know until we get into this possible match point here, as I'll let you take it away once again, Dom.
If it is going to be a comeback story, though, for 3AM, as if you do recollect the intro I introduced 3AM with, then it is definitely something for the highlight reel and something for the history, since it is such a steep mountain. But do they have the equipment to make it work? We will see, though, as Mujet already removes, like he said, so surgically, and the first point is basically seeded off of that.
Yeah, that is not the best first of all time. Already losing your sniper instantly, and then quick aggression coming off of Blank, trying to get uphill. I'd imagine they want to take this quite quick, and they get an opening frag to do it once again as Luca goes down. They do end up losing Unforgiven and Ryan, and that's a level 3 gun on tracks that won't be sapped, and there will be no bombs apart from possibly Blank coming out here, but I'd imagine he'd rather wait for spawn. There's a lot of space on hill here. 3am are going to have to work overtime to try and deny this from him.
At least the card was relatively far back, however, Blank has Uber popped onto him, doesn't even find Likey, but there's already Osoro bulldozing forward, but being met here into the sky. Oh, Vlad is flaring himself forward, and some stabs are into the fray thrown as well. Mezzo used the teleporter that was not dealt with in the backlines, and they're still trying to Scarpa out here, trembling in the wake of those red players combining with the damage.
Cheeky little 4-kill streak coming out there. You can never count Mezzo out under any circumstance, and he is able to get them a little bit of leeway now as they look to recommit through overhill. There's a lot of sticks, a lot of spam coming out, but not finding much damage yet as Griff is just focusing on those reflex as they opt to not walk at hill. Possibly a little bait coming in as they walk through main. Osro going down to Unforgiven very quickly there, and it's picked up by Clark's gun as Ryan is picked up. Blank also goes down on card, but they're getting a lot of card time here. Nothing really coming out from the side of 3am just yet, although they are just getting picks on picks on picks. And it's just a complete collapse coming in as that banner is popped.
Mezzo playing ring around a Rosie with Nugent there. Basically, if they had another victory lap, I would have been concerned about my future Premiership nerfs here. But let's see, as everything that really realistically did was tick down time until Gio reaches into another 100% scenario here. But Elijah is immediately headshot, even though they wanted to push. So already, Lack Your Heavy that wanted to structure up another follow-up foothold here on the side flank, and that might suffer for them. I mean, Clark is down, that is good, but the defensive team is still forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking all right for GANJA. They need to take a bit of pressure here and focus on this heavy, which they don't. Snacks dropping down, getting blanked, doesn't manage to find the med, but Mezzo cleans it up for him on a 5-kill streak on his gun alone. That is ridiculous. We do see a lot of picks on the side of GANJA, a lot of picks on the side of 3am as well, but no seeds, no snacks, no Mezzo. Doesn't look like they want to leave just yet, but it's good to set the tone for them going into third.
Brother, again, they lose seeds, they all overchase there. I mean, it isn't overchase if you do not lose your medic. That was wonderfully curated, honestly, on the follow-up aggression through the tunnel area, but eventually there was also an aggressive sniper in the forward position trying to establish a forward foothold to further on progress here, but Luca Animan has some stickies to deter said aggression, and let's see if some players can follow up it. Yes, Snacks also decently healthy, still on the health bars, and that bars the offensive team to walk up on any further aggressive. Vlad also has the side tunnel locked out. Likey in a bit of a forward position is able to leave.
Definitely, it's such a messy second here with it looking just 3am finally getting back in position, but there's so many times where they're out of position and they're managing to claw it back. That adaptability is finally kicking in for them, as we talked about earlier. Snacks does end up going down early, but the grip is also dead. Gotta be careful going on the offense as they have no way of deflecting the spam that's coming in. Elijah is picked up by Lakey, Ryan's picked up by Osro as well. The pressure is now coming in, Mezzo's picked up, the gun barely just going down as the Uber comes out, but C's does manage to get out, as I imagine they are finally going to be going back to third with 100 or 90% ad for them.
Losing so many players again on the pull out. Nugent was in such a potent position. That was so scary. If he rings one more bell and that's a drop, then that is a completely different ballpark here, but it is Blank being shot down. That definitely helps here. Snacks keeps control of the third point. They lost some players, they had some time, however, and a 50% Uber advantage. Nugent responds in kind, however, and they have to use an Uber here very aggressively. Do they find what they want and what they need? The pipes are hit on auxiliary players. Zio is dancing. Zio puts on those dancing shoes.
He does manage to survive there, but they got a lot of picks during that Uber as well. The casting catch it, but Mushat surviving in wood for a long time and barely getting Lakey before he was eventually picked up. Now 3 down, 4 down for the side of 3am. Menix getting picked up. Oh, Mezzo getting picked up, sorry, very similar names. As we see a lot of pressure coming in from GANJA now. They know they're down that many players, they want to use the player ad while they're in. As C's gets picked up by Unforgiven near his spawn. You want to avoid that. They're going to be leaving now. You don't want to drop your med as you just leave for fourth. I mean, there's a couple of picks coming in from Osoro. Does manage to find Elijah, but does get picked up by Blank, which could be setting the tone going into this last push. It could be the last push we've seen of this season as well.
It could be the very last push. You put it so euphemistically. It is not what you like to see. It is definitely unforgivable on losing seats there. You cannot have him stabbed in that situation. Snacks was doing so well for his own team, establishing those forward footholds and always gunning down those players, definitely having his own minigun on point, but likely now is postured up in the red room, and it is called red for a reason, because the defending team is collared up. Likewise, maybe some blood does feature.
Siyo!
Mezzo on Siyo, he is saving them.
Yeah, he's bringing them back into this game, clawing them back from the depths of hell itself. I mean, they're going to have to be very careful here, though, because there's still a minute 20 on the clock, and though they have ad, it can definitely turn the tables very quickly, especially with the pick one for the sniper from Mujet. Very good sniper. That means he's going to be able to peek every single sightline with no worries about that SVS coming out, and the rest of his team can peek. They are starting to get aggro in red room again. Vlad goes down early to Blank, which is a very good pick, and so is Snacks. The Uber comes out, but they've already dropped so many. Clark goes down during the Uber as well. It's going to be no gun. Nobby's down as well. It's only 4 up. They need to be rushing it, man. They can't have any deaths now, as we see a bomb coming in. Don't manage to find anything. Menace.
So clutch. If Menix gets that kill, that is curtains, but Seeds is kept alive. Osoro cleaned up everyone. That was so very clutch as they used an Uber very aggressively. That my heart rate was definitely increasing, but they're not out of harm's way yet. Only 30 seconds to go here. A full 100% in their own bank. Unforgiven, uncloaking. Can they stave off another storm? If you do so wind, you might sow and you might reap the whirlwind, but they are able to kite it out. Let's see if they can recollect their resources here from the high ground area. Ryan is already shooting like he apart though, however, and there's so much Captain already coming in. There's a heavy also on the front lines, and I think they've thrown it all on the table, but you do have your champions now. GANJA coming back and absolutely showing 3am who the boss is.
Wow, I mean, wow, that is a disgusting last push with only 5 seconds to spare. 3am just dropping too many players. They couldn't get onto the cart in time. And with Elijah in that god spot and the rest of the combo just cleaning up around that, you're not going to be able to stop them there, as that solidifies themselves as ETF2L Season 35 Premiership Grand Champions. Harry, mate, bringing you back on. What is your take on that final round?
That was certainly the best 3am looked in the entire grand finals, and it still was not enough. The same mistakes were present. Taking these aggressive Ubers, overcommitting, and just dying in the post. Seeds managed to survive that last one, but it doesn't matter. You don't get Shio. I have no idea why they're using in with 56 seconds left on the clock or whatever it was in this Ubercharge advantage. Just hold on to your Ubercharge. You can block the cart for 8 seconds for free. It's absolutely mind-boggling why that call is made, and that single call loses them that round after Mezzo putting in so much work with the 4k on second to stabilize them, with the drop on last to bring them back into a winning position, with the round in the palm of their hands, and it's all thrown away because an Uber is taken and they lose 6 during it.
Yeah, it has to be said, Mezzo, do not put your head, do not let it hang low at all. You tried your best, and 3am definitely tried their best, but I mean, it's just not enough. In that last round, it was close, but I mean, if we want to have a look at the logs do not indicate that whatsoever. I mean, Nobby going 2-13 is definitely standing out to me here, with Luca going 5-11, both going sub 300 DPM, whereas the enemy team Blank not getting a lot of kills, but still 400 DPM. Ryan, 413, Mujet once again tearing up the dance floor of Vigil, going 13-6 with 550 DPM. I mean, again, it looked closer than it has been for this entirety of this grand finals, but the logs do not indicate it whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of a one-sided discussion the entire time. We were waiting for 3am to look like the team we know them to be, and in that last round, it certainly looked like they were. And it still wasn't enough. GANJA just utterly dominating and taking advantage of all these opportunities that 3am gifted them by taking these aggressive Ubers into positions where I just feel that it's just a bad call made over and over again. These stubborn Ubers are taken, and these stubborn Ubers are not finding victory.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Hello.
Yo.
Oh, Seeds. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we heard everything. I saw all the screenshots, but We moved channels.
Okay, we've now got interviews with our hosts.
Lakey, bro, Lakey. Lakey, yo.
Nah, there's nothing, bro.
What the hell?
Oh god, dude.
It's only hearsay. It's only hearsay.
Dave, take command.
Okay. Well done, GANJA. First things to say. How are you feeling now that you have once more defeated the behemoth that is 3M?
All I'm gonna say is it was definitely a mountain to climb. Like, it was a big mountain to climb, and we did it. Let's fucking go. We fucking did it. Yeah.
Nice stuff, Ryan. How are you feeling after that? You haven't played as much Highlander as some of the other guys. Do you think I mean, everyone's told you about how good these 3M players are meant to be, right? But I mean, didn't seem like they had the match for you tonight, did they?
Well, I think maybe it's like a mixture of like how much preparation we put in as well to the game. I feel like in upper bracket final, it was like basically a complete fucking stomp. Like, we kind of got fucking stomped. But I feel like we just prepared well for the final. Like, me and Blank were just, oh fucking hell, we spent too much time watching a lot of shit, just like preparing, trying to do the best we can. I just think like when we went upward, I was very confident we could take it all.
How does our producer feel about people swearing at the moment? If you could try and keep it PG, at least from my perspective. Okay, Sai doesn't care.
Oh, sorry.
No, because yeah, I'm looking at you, Clark.
Yo, I lost my record, bro. And now that quote is gonna chase me the entire rest of my career, bro. Why did I have to choose that quote?
I mean, you're Upward. That's your first ever Premiership defeat on Upward, I believe. You've lost in Prem qualies, but I don't think you've lost in a Premiership official.
I actually that 100% win rate is a bit of a lie, because I did lose with open squad and was when I was playing for those teams. But with the SDTK I never lost. Yeah. So
okay.
The SDTK record still holds.
That's
my cope. That's my cope. That's my cope. That's my cope, bro.
Yeah. I do actually have.
Please let me have it.
I do have a few questions, because you kind of kept dying in these overcommits, especially on Upward. Seeds was getting collapsed on by GANJA very effectively the entire time, and you didn't seem to kind of change your approach at all, especially on Upward. You changed it a little bit on Vigil, where you were backing out some more. Was there ever some discussion on Upward, or was it between maps that you made that kind of adjustment to be slightly more kind of absorptive rather than try to just throw everything at the wall?
Actually, I don't know. I felt like it was the opposite, because when we were playing Upward, I felt like we were really passive. Every time we had an egg grouper, it actually worked, except for that one time on second, on Upward second. On Vigil, we actually, that second round, that was the best we've played the entire game, but it was not enough, unfortunately, because we had a 7-minute attack. And 7-minute attack on Vigil is, it's not good enough, We need to have a better attack. I mean, the rumors are fine, Seeds, he's new, he's come back to Highlander just for a couple of weeks, and it shows. I don't want to blame on anybody, but, obviously, it's a team game, but, people need to show up. Important games, and today some people don't like you. Take over, bro. Take over.
I mean, what do you want me to say? I think I don't want to put any excuses or anything, but I played fucking dog shit. I'm very sorry, but I had to say it. But I played very bad tonight, and I couldn't really help my team do anything. They just ran over me. I couldn't really do anything at all. I don't want to say any excuses, but I am playing on a pretty bad mouse. But
That's
we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
Oh, do we not, Lakey? I mean,
no, it's fine. You could just look at the logs and you'll understand. There's a bad mouse for sure.
This is more for Blank than the kind of other side of the coin. Mujet and yourself, you seem to kind of dominate the counterparts from 3M across the entire game. Was that a symptom of how you were playing against 3M? Maybe playing against them in a more kind of team-based fashion, calls-wise, or was that the reason for your dominance and why you were kind of steamrolling them, especially on Upward?
Yeah, well, would say like at the start, like we've always just been good on upward. Like when we played Moikil and Mormoro, we kind of stomped them, and in scrims it was also really good. But we were always confident on upward. And yeah, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like we played really well, but I mean, yeah, Seeds like milking all the Ubers every time we do attack and stuff, like dropping their pyro. It's just like these opportunity picks that like give us the space we need, just to cap every point. Is I mean,
Yeah,
it
you
helped a
can't.
lot. It
Yeah,
helped a lot.
you can't milk and Highlander. Like I think every Highlander medic knows it. Every Highlander medic knows it, but he.
I literally realized it, but you always like I've played so many pucks with you. You always say like, "Oh, you can't milk in Highlander," but like Seeds is like the biggest milker, and he just when you guys have fucking this like he just walks forward and dies. So,
Yeah, he's a
but we did play really well. I think my calls were like decent for the most time, and my team was just playing good today. And Muja is popping off 160 ping. Let's fucking get it. Let's get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So can we talk about this? By the way, can we talk about this?
Oh, boy.
Like, no, we can't. Like, it's up to you guys if you want to talk about it. But
we can do it in the discussion channel. Like,
no, we can do it here. Why not? Why
I
not?
think so.
I think that's
I
a
would think so.
sidetrack in the discussion slightly away
Like-
from where we would want to be for now. But I personally, I don't think it was the massive difference maker from my perspective. I said it after the first round. I think it just seemed like you were playing a bit stubborn overall. Whether that was Seeds holding onto Ubers, trying to play in and getting caught a lot of the time. I think stubborn would be the way I would describe the way you played, and I think GANJA punished you correctly for that.
Yeah, I guess you could say stubborn. The other word for it is like we wanted to play our game. We didn't like want to like adapt to what they were doing, because like we did a little bit, right? We also watched demos. We knew like they like to play from tunnel on second on Vigil. So I just put my gun passive and it actually worked really well, like denying them like that. But it's again like our defense on second round was actually pretty good. Like it's
Yes.
our offense that was bad, you know. Like, and I think our offense was bad was because already like I don't know if people were tilted. Maybe people were a little bit like tilted is not the right word. Like they were what's the proper word I'm looking for, Harry? They were deflated, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, kind of demotivated after feeling like you've already lost, but you've still got more rounds to play, you know?
Yeah, because we beat the exact same team. Like we beat GANJA in the upper bracket final, but they had Lucian and Sniper. And to be fair, like Lucian, like people like talk shit about Lucian in upper bracket final because of the Astral game. But like on Vigil, he played fine, right? Like I actually could argue like he played better than Mujed, but Mujed just like he has the ability to hit those shots, you know, like you're behind the wall and you're behind the wall, bro.
I guess I want to ask from your perspective then, GANJA guys, what was you obviously like lost the upper bracket final fairly convincingly. What was like the big turnaround then for you to come back and look so strong tonight?
You want to start, Blink? Or
well, yeah, I want to say that we played it really badly. At least the upper bracket final, we would just give them a lot of space and respect them a bit too much. Like whenever they would have Uberat, we would basically just give up a point. So we kind of just watched it, and I think the confidence coming from upward was also kind of key play into how well we played on Vigil.
Yeah. Okay. So have our casters, Domaytoe and Vixen, you guys got any questions for these lads before we move on to shoutouts?
I don't have any questions. I just want to. I'll do my shower now. Shower blank. It's his birthday. Can we get a round of applause, please? He's
Yo,
pushing
happy birthday,
35
bro.
today.
I want all your items, guys. I'm turning 24. I'm not 45. Please give me all your items, please.
And also early happy birthday to Likey in 2 days, right?
happy birthday, Likey.
Thank you.
birthday,
Thank
Likey.
you.
Birthday,
Oh,
Laxson.
thank
Wow.
you.
It's a very bad birthday gift or early birthday gift, but it's okay. Thank you, guys.
Brilliant. I mean, I don't have any choice questions here to ask. I was a bit put out of proportion here since I usually, study the Oxford Dictionary to have synonyms for foul language, but everyone was just speedrunning swears here, it seemed to me, honestly. But, I mean, definitely a great show. The only few devils I maybe want to ask here, honestly. Blank, did you feel like pressured at all seeing going against Luca Enderman? Like, I was raising the question before, are you again trapped out? Because on the upper bracket final, on the lower bracket final, I was a bit confused why your combo was sometimes a bit caught out and you were isolated, but you seem to make the adaptations this time around.
Yeah, I think we just had different ideas. Like, I want us to play in a certain way where I assume my team is with me and then, they're not, or I'm usually the first one in. So I would probably just get sniped a lot and then it would be pretty bad. But I mean, besides that, I think it's fine. I don't think I respect Luca at all. I played sixes with him. I know he can't main call at all. So I knew I was the better demo coming into it, for sure.
Brilliant. I do love some spice and energy here, but Dave, thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, no problem. I guess we'll move over to shoutouts then, starting with Blank.
Shout out my team, shout out you guys, and shout out everyone in Mandem. They know who they are. And shout out Seeds, my goat.
Clark.
Shout out to 3AM. Shout out to SDTK who are now sitting in their Discord and laughing at me because I lost. So shout out to them. Shout out to you guys for casting.
Domaytoe.
Oh, you go alphabetically, but leave yourself out. I see how it is. But no, my shout-outs just cursorily here to obviously Fireside, Kritscast, our community in general, and our viewers of tonight. Specifically, also siyo here coming in clutch for us and producing in no alphabetical order either. Vlad for giving me insight, Voxtech for basically being the nicest person I have met over Team Fortress 2. Grüße gehen außerdem raus an den Deutschen Quizverein. And again, thanks for this panel and keeping me company here. It was a great game to watch nonetheless.
Harry.
Yeah, just a few. Once again, siyo coming in clutch. V2 obviously for casting many games for many a season and always being around when possible. Vixen for absolutely smashing it first season of casting. I don't think many people can possibly tell. And myself, I'm going to shout myself out. I'm going to take that and tell people to go watch my frag video. Watch my frag video. I want it.
Okay, Lucky.
Shout out to 3AM, obviously. Shout out to GANJA for being great opponents. Shout out Dixos forever. And I don't know, yeah, that's it. Shout out to SCK players as well. They know who they are.
Ryan?
Shout out to Mandem. Shout out to 3AM for being a good team. Shout out to GANJA as well. Shout out to Seeds for dying in every red possible while typing in chat. And yeah, thank you. That's all.
Okay, Vixen.
Shout out Kritscast, shout out Fireside for giving me this opportunity to cast. Shout out the teams for doing such a good job on letting us have great games to cast this season. Shout out Harry specifically, because I wouldn't be here if he didn't get me in it. Thank you, baby. And shout out Literal Fume as well, because you know what, he was giving me some love in chat. So, love you, Fume. Mwah.
Okay, and siyo, do you have any shoutouts you want to give?
Unmute on stream. There we go. Anti shout out to Fancy. What a terrible block.
Yeah, big shout out to Fancy, the most involved chatter for sure. But thank you to everyone in the chat for providing us with so much great entertainment and memes. And yeah, big shout out to all the teams that played this season for bringing great action. Thank you very much, siyo and Fireside, for coming through and allowing us to put on this show for the grand final, which otherwise wouldn't have happened because of the circumstances around WeTubes and Kritscast just not being available, unfortunately. Yeah, big shout out to everyone who casted on Kritscast as well this season, and yeah, big well done to Vixen as well, coming through in his first season. And you wouldn't know it because he was awesome throughout the whole of the season. But yeah, also big thank you to everyone else who casted. And finally, I guess Emil, who was the admin who was involved throughout all of the season, just trying to wrangle everyone together and get everyone on the same page. And yeah, thank you to the teams for doing their best to, despite the difficult circumstances, everyone having kind of awkward availability, including our producer, towards the end of this season, we managed to eventually get it all working out. And getting a pretty good grand final, all things considered. And I guess I've got one final question for the teams. And are you coming back next season?
No. Well, not decided yet. At least.
Well, Clark did say he wants to play another season before the game ended, so
No.
you can have it, Clark.
No. We just answer your question. No, we're not coming back. No.
No.
So wide
but-
open.
Always good to end on a high note.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
lose one game and upward, and that's it. That's
No.
the
It's,
legacy
to
of
be
it.
fair, like if you want like the real answer, like we were talking before the game, it was like Matzo and stuff, and like I think it's time. Like I think it's time. There's like the community is no, it's not even that. It's like some IRL stuff. Unfortunately, gets in the way. You know, I still like this game. Like I will play like bugs and stuff from time to time, but yeah, it is what it is.
Well, that is unfortunate, but I hope to see as many teams back next season. It should be a good one. I don't know exactly when it's going to be. I'm expecting full-time.
End of
Autumn, I
July
think.
into
End
August.
of July. Wow, that's pretty quickly. That's pretty quick turnaround. But yeah, hope to see as many teams as possible. Hope to see all you guys in the chat back for next season. What kind of things do we have coming up on Fireside, siyo? This is it. Fireside's over. This is it. Clark is over. 3am is over. Fireside is over. I guess sub to Critscast. We might have things in a few months. But yeah, that was the E2F2L Highlander
Stream
season
ended, dude.
35.
Stream's over.
Wait, stream's over?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
You
Oh,
wait,
wait,
make the
wait,
derivation,
oh.
Oopsies.
Anyways.
What?
It's live for me. It's live for me. I don't know what you're
Oh
talking
yeah,
about.
it doesn't
Yeah,
lag,
it's
but it's
live.
still live.
People
Bro,
trolling?
bro.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
okay, now I took you guys off. Now I took you off.